Hello, and welcome to the Product Growth Lab podcast, hosted by Andrew George and Melissa Pickle. This is the podcast for creative product-based business owners who want to grow their businesses without overwhelm or massive investment. Each episode, we explore actionable strategies, real-life stories, and insights from business owners and experts who know what it takes to succeed, whether you're just starting out or looking to scale. We're here to help you grow your business on your own terms. Subscribe and join us each week as we dive into practical advice and inspiring stories to fuel your growth journey. This is the Product Growth Lab. Let's get started. Today, we are looking at turning first-time customers, so people who have shopped with you once, their first time shopping with you, into loyal repeat buyers. Why is this so important and amazing? Because it is so much cheaper to get a return customer than to get a new customer. And cheaper, we're talking about in terms of effort, exposure, and money. So if we can get people who buy from us once to be so blown away and just amazed and excited over their experience that they want to come back and buy from us again, that, my friend, is the definition of winning in business. All right?
It's so much more predictable in terms of traffic when it comes to repeat buyers. They're on platforms, mainly email marketing is where you're going to get those repeat customers without spoiling the whole podcast. But it's a reliable platform. Unless you really say something controversial in your emails, your subscribers should stay around the same number-ish, and you should get a consistent click-through rate, and hopefully you raise that over time as well. Whereas things like social media is up or down, and it very often does. A good sometimes it's just algorithms and the way things are working.
What in the world is going to have a big on that?
And if you're running ads, they're like cost change, you need new creative, you need your targeting, there's a whole ton of work goes into that. The repeat traffic and email is, and I say this as an expert, so I'm probably wrong. Email marketing is a little bit simpler.
You look at, even to take it outside of the creative world, but just to give you an example that everyone can relate to that's powerful here is, I'm sure you have a favorite restaurant. Or you have a place that you go to either weekly, monthly, I don't know, however often you go out to eat. In our case, there's a gyro truck 1 mile down the road, and he is our favorite. That is called a repeat customer. That is semi-reliable revenue. So if you look at it as, say, a restaurant, because those are all one-time purchases, not a continuity program, then it's pretty easy to understand. They might have had to spend money on advertising or location or whatnot to get you in the door the first time, but if you love the food, you're going to keep coming back. So make sure people love your food.
So the first one we're going to do is providing an exceptional first purchase experience. When someone new comes into your business, you want that first purchase and the experience that someone has to set the tone for the relationship over the next week, month, year, decade. You want to blow them out the water, give them a really great experience in every touch point that you have, the emails that they get, their purchase checking out, their experience making the purchase, the shipping experience, actually receiving that and how fast they get it, how reliable is their good options. Even the packaging comes into it. Having a handwritten note in there, all those things we spoke about a couple of episodes ago, how you follow up with them afterwards, asking for a review is another touch point. You want the reviews for your own self, but that just following up with them and asking how things went and how it can be a really great touch point and gives them a great experience because you look like you care, but you should care. It is showing that you care in email. All of those different touch points along the journey, you want to be as good as possible because if one lets you down, it can ruin their experience and they just never come back. Thinking of a restaurant, the first time you go to a restaurant, you leave and come home and you have food poisoning. Even if that's the only time you ever give anyone food poisoning in their entire time being in a restaurant, you're not going to go back there. You're not going to give them a second shot.
There's a restaurant that I absolutely love in the next town, and they have gelato. So we get gelato for life. And I have raved about it and raved about it and raved about it. And then one day my mom was in town and she's like, oh, Melissa's always talking about this place. Let's stop and eat. And they had new staff in and they had changed up their menu. They had changed up their ordering process so you could order on the app, which is not something we really like when we're in a restaurant. And the food that came out from a new cook was absolutely horrible. So it doesn't matter how much I rave about that business and the gelato and all the good things that I have, because she ordered something that I had never gotten on the menu before. She will never, ever, ever go back. Don't fall down on the first experience. You don't get another option here. Another chance, usually. And yes, you're the only person who sells this very necessary, useful, must be had item. Then they're forced to it, but they don't like you.
But you're actively seeking alternatives. Like there's places. If I didn't have to send my stuff with the Royal Mail, I absolutely would not. They have had a lot of horrible experiences with them and had quite to go in somewhere else. Like cost and reliability, everything's either much more expensive or even less reliable, which is hard to believe.
The biggest things in here with touch points, though, especially, is shipping expectations and getting that order out either on time or early. If you need to set padding within your shipping time, then do it. One of the worst things is someone who orders and then it takes forever for the item to come. That is going to automatically preset them to not be happy and not want to come. So, timely shipping, making sure that your product descriptions, like, don't lie your people. Make sure the colors represent what the thing really is. Make sure the sizing represents what the thing really is. Don't be like, oh, I ordered lightsabers. I forgot about this. Still mad. It was off a Facebook ad, and a friend found it because we wanted lightsabers to duels, but we wanted nice ones, not like the cheap ones you get at the dollar store or in Walmart and whatnot. And we went through this whole like sales page, and like we were really nitpicking it apart, and these looked like awesome lightsabers, and the price was pretty good. And then they had like a buy two for 30 something bucks, or maybe it was more. I don't remember. I want to say I spent close to $100 to get 4 lightsabers, which looked like they were going to be pretty decent. I have a habit of breaking the cheap one. So, place the order, so excited. Takes forever to come in. And finally, something comes and arrives. Oh, by the way, it's like they shared pictures of a warehouse. They had videos of people lighting up these lightsabers, and they were so awesome and showing them doing battle and everything else. It, everything was a lie. I get this package on the front porch, and it's small, and it's wrapped, and it's from China. It still had the international shipping labels and everything on it. I'm like, oh boy, what the hell is this? I open it up, and it is the equivalent to dollar store lightsabers. It is the kind that you flick and they slide apart. You couldn't get the compartments open to put the batteries in. When you do get it, the thing won't close back down. And I was so outraged. I didn't even think to fight the pricing claim on it and maybe get my money back. I was a dumb consumer at that point. So I was like, oh, I'll give them to my nephew. And then we duel, and they're so cheap that I will slash with my good lightsaber and break his, and it's a crying fest. No, so this is just bad experiences all around.
It can be tempting to, especially when it comes to shipping, to say, oh, yeah, you can have this next day. But if you're never going to do that, even if you say, yeah, this is going to take 5 days, which is slow and is not quite as attractive. But if you always meet that 5 days, people are going to be happier than if you constantly fail to do next day delivery.
Or if you ship out in 5 and you're able to do it in 3, but you have 5 for padding, people are going to be even more excited.
Having that, like Shopify can
Or
do
delivery
that.
time or ship out time.
Either are. But like Shopify will give you a range of when it'll be delivered. And if you meet that, I'm happy enough. Sometimes it being early can also annoy me because I'll look and I'll be like, okay, this thing says it's definitely not coming today. I can go out. And then it arrives early and I miss it. That also annoys me. Setting and meeting expectations is what I like. If it's through the letterbox, I don't care. Just send it fast. If it's something I have to answer the door for, give me an accurate time frame.
Yeah, they just leave stuff on our porch.
And then they send it back to the place, and then they take days to deliver it. Or you can go there, but it's open from 8 till 8:01 on the second Thursday of the month, but only if it's a full moon. It's too much work.
We have a couple of salons in our area that have timing scheduled like that. I especially enjoy the full moon part. That I didn't put that in the equation. That is so true. Okay, so you guys got the deal here on having that wonderful initial experience. So let's move on to the next part, which is once they got the thing and they're all excited about the thing, you want to keep that momentum going. And the easiest way to do that is through follow-up post-purchase email. Yes?
Yeah, which is something I swear a lot. I have a whole template pack, which I almost have a whole even improved template pack that does even more coming soon. So I talk about this a lot, and I spoke about it a little bit in the last one. But having a set of emails that really take someone through the experience. Post-purchase, it's not just after they've received it, it's the in-between when they hit pay now and it arrives to them. You can help build up some expectations. When's it going to be delivered? When letting them know when it's shipped out. If it's something that has some sort of education around it, giving them those emails in that sequence. If you sell, it'll be hard to get a large product range without building 100 different sequences. If say you sell digital templates and they're all in Canva, giving someone a set of instructions like, here's how you make a Canva account, here's how you change text, here's how you change fonts and colors, just simple things like that in a nice sequence will make that really easy for someone and builds a nice kind of experience for them. Having some follow-up emails with those instructions will help make sure that they get the good of it. Having an email that asks for reviews, if you don't just say, hey, leave me a review, if you actually say, hey, it's Andrew, I'm following up on your recent purchase. Did it go well? Have you received this? If you have any problems, just reach out and let me know. Oh, and if you love it, could you leave a review? That you're leading up front with asking how they do it and offering to solve any issues. That helps build a relationship and some expectations in their mind because you look like someone who genuinely cares in their purchase and wants to make sure that they're getting a really good experience with you. And even doing things like upselling your next emails, even if you're like, okay, you bought the thing, but there's another item that would go really well with this. Or now that you have this would also be useful. If you write that email in a really good way where you're helping someone, you are letting them know that this genuinely would help them. That also builds a really great experience. And it also gets some purchasing in there. There's benefits, there's multiple benefits there. Restock emails. If you sell soap and okay, the soap lasts around a month, let's say, in a month's time, you say, hey, Melissa, looks like you're going to be running out of soap pretty soon. Is it time you purchased? It's
Because no
helpful.
one
It's
wants
not
to
just
deal with
sales.
that day that you have that itty bitty scrap of soap left and you're scrubbing it on the washcloth to see if you can get any suds out of it, and it's your favorite soap and your skin loves it and it smells so good. I don't want anyone to have to go through that kind of struggle right there. So why don't you reorder now? So when it gets that little stubby, like flint of a piece left, you have a whole new bar ready to go.
And you could even be like, oh, hey, what's that? You bought this 2 months in a row. What about if you set up a subscription for this? That's a
Then you
massive
don't have
win.
to. There's a certain shit
Yeah.
bar that I wish would do that. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Shoot, let's
Yeah. And if you're using a platform like Shopify, really easy to implement, it keeps to mind, it lets them know that you care and you are genuinely helping them. It's not just salesy. All of those things really do help someone have a great experience and it turns them into repeat customers. The next way we do this is building loyalty through personalization. And I feel like I talk about this a lot, but email is the way I like to do this. There's so much
if you
personalization to
didn't
be
catch it
built
ahead of
into your
time,
emails. Yeah, there's so much personalization that can easily be done with email, especially if you're using a platform that integrates with the e-commerce platform that you're using. I use Shopify. Klaviyo does this the best. It has all that customer data. It's constantly collecting it. It knows every time they visit your site, every time they've abandoned cart, every time they've made a purchase, what they purchased, how far there is between those purchases. Are they opening your emails? Are they clicking through? And you can use all that data to send them personalized emails. It knows what they've been looking at. So when you send them an email, you can say, hey, here's some recommendations based on what you actually buy and what you actually look at when you're on the site. It even has like it doesn't specifically ask this, but it guesses if they're male or female. If you sell clothes, you're not sending me pictures of dresses because I'm never going to buy them. Even it's like it's not going to be perfect. But using things like that in your emails, it makes it personalized, and I'm so much more likely to purchase when you send me the right stuff. I get some clothes companies all the and other things like that. And I get emails from them, and most of the time it's menswear, but sometimes it's women's wear. And I'm like, okay, delete. I'm not going to buy this. I don't randomly buy dresses for people. Don't send it to me.
you hoodies. That would have been so much better.
Even sending things like birthday emails where you get a sort of discount,
Mhm.
it makes them feel really special. The anniversary of the date they first made a purchase. Taking your most loyal customers and sending them specific emails, putting them in a little segment of people and giving them a specific offer. Things like Black Friday is coming up. You give them early access. There's so many ways to add personalization and it builds loyalty because you're sending them really relevant, tailored stuff to them. Makes them feel more valued, and it makes them way more likely to make a purchase. So the next way we do this is encouraging loyalty with incentives. These are ways to give people a reason to keep coming back.
Reward repeat purchases. So if you give them someone who has already bought from you is now likely has a higher chance of buying from you again as long as you didn't screw it in the beginning. So give them reasons. Sometimes people just need a reason to shop, a reason to come back. So you could do things like VIP customer days, customer appreciation sales, any of that kind of thing are phenomenal for getting people to come on back, or just, let them know about other sales going on. So you can do incentives, you can do loyalty points. So loyalty programs are phenomenal for this, for getting people to come back and back and back.
Yeah, a few months ago,
That's your beast of loyalty programs.
a few months ago, with some of our private clients, we worked on building loyalty schemes into their websites. So we've been testing those out and looking at all the different ways you can reward people with points, getting them to visit your website again and again. And eventually, always the making a purchase is a really good reason to give someone points. And they start to build up those points and they keep coming back. We've dug into this really deep on another episode of the podcast. And they can also unlock other things. It doesn't necessarily have to be a money off voucher. It can be a free shipping voucher if you don't normally offer that. They can use points to unlock early access to a sale.
I was going to say, an easy way to think about this that maybe a lot of people know is like credit card tiers or like hotel tiers, where they'll have you're a base member or a reward member, and then maybe you get bronze or silver and then gold and platinum and all of those, like level up, level up, level up. What is it? The loyalty program. It proves if you're a top tier person at Bonvoy, it means you spent a lot of money with Marriott. It's a loyalty program, and I have friends who will go and take the expensive Marriott hotel over the cheap hotel because they don't want to lose their gold status. Sorry, Jonna. But that's like an outside of e-com experience. But it's so true on here. How many people, if you are a jewelry maker, you are probably aware of Fire Mountain Gems. They have tiers. Most people look at it, they just have discount levels for how much you're buying, but they also have tiers that get you extra level discounts. I see this a lot in suppliers. That's where I pay attention the most. But loyalty programs, I talked about it before, Kohl's and Kohl's Cash is a loyalty program. The more you spend, the more reward you get, which is a great thing here. But as Andrew said, it doesn't just have to be discounts. It could be gifts. It could be shipping vouchers. It could be extra level behind the scenes thing. It could be, I've never understood this one, but apparently it does work. Like if you were to combine loyalty program with community, it could be certain badges, certain statuses that people have. Like that works too. It could be a really great, easy one on there is if they're at a certain level or they reach a certain number of reward points, their orders get processed first. They get to skip the line.
Look at any airline. They all have a scheme with different levels. And like people will go out of their way to spend money on flights so they can get the points to use for something else. And airlines do all sorts of weird things. They like UK domestic flights. The UK isn't huge. Aberdeen is really far north. London's very far south. That's one of the longest domestic routes. It's an hour and a half. You go up and you're down. If you get a good tailwind, it's closer to an hour. And a couple of years ago, they have business class right now, where it's 2 rows of 3 on those flights. They put a weird table thing in the middle seat, so you get a seat to yourself and then a space for another person. And they serve a cold meal, which I don't know how you could possibly eat that in the amount of time, because they must get up. Here's your food. Okay, we need to clean this way. Bye.
There's a mastermind program that I'm part of, and I go to events with them. And they offer now VIP. I think I've done the VIP every time I go on to hang out with them, mostly because I like who you get to meet and hang out with at the dinner. It's more of a what room are you in than anything else. But now, if you're VIP, they started the last one I went to, second to last one, that the front section of table are reserved for VIP. And I'm always like, I get to be in the section. I have the fancy pass. I get annoyed if I go to a place. It's like, wait, there was a fancy pass. Why do I not have the fancy pass? I want the exclusive stuff. If you offer perks, like they will, you can always go into ChatGPT and be like, I want to start a rewards program. This is my market. This is what I sell. Give me ideas for what we can offer.
Yeah. And you can even include your tech stack. You say, okay, I use Shopify and Klaviyo,
Hmm.
and like it will incorporate the tech you have and offer suggestions for give a plugin that would work to connect both and create a loyalty team. The last way we turn our first time customers into repeat buyers is by maintaining excellent customer service.
You have to have great customer service.
And then sometimes it takes a lot of being the bigger person and responding nicely,
Sometimes
even
it takes
when
a hey chat, write this response for me because I'm gonna put up my computer.
saved responses that have the nice way to say things, because if I wrote them myself, they
It would
wouldn't be
not be
so
nice.
nice. Sometimes it's okay. I do need a couple of hours to get the initial anger out of my head so I can respond in a rational kind of manner when I'm not quite as angry.
I rage, yes. Be careful with the time delay thing because sometimes you're just allowing yourself and the customer to sit and stew with their anger. And I'm gonna suggest going to the chat route because sometimes I get so pissed off at them that I wait a full 24 hours and then occasionally I forget about them. Well, then they get really, really mad and I get really, really mad at them and now at myself too. So I'm going to stress like if you could do it, maybe this is you have a VA, you have a relative, you have a child, you have a somebody else who puts the thing into ChatGPT to get the response that is or is not approved by you and goes out could be a better option. Because sometimes the time delay just like bites me in the butt.
Yeah. I know I need it because I even tried ChatGPT for like, okay, say this, but say it angrier. Don't be this nice. Like I'll even say ChatGPT. Like this is too nice to this person. You need to change it. I need that time to cool down
We need it to be
because yeah, I want to send the horrible email. So yeah,
listen
respond to it
prefer, make them
basically,
feel embarrassed for their comment.
but respond quickly. Proactively addressing the concerns. If you see something going wrong and you can solve it, reaching out to them. If you, it was something this week, I do personalized stuff, one of our clients does. If you see something that looks like a mistake, instead of letting them spend money and then getting angry at you and blaming you and having to ask for more and all this stuff, reach out and be like, okay, I think this is wrong. Really creates a great experience for them. And following up and making sure that things did go wrong when you've reached out to someone. A great experience I had when I bought the machine I used to personalize everything. My initial one broke and I bought a new one. And when I first bought it, they had this upgrade pack thing that I bought a couple of months later. So when I bought the new one, I bought the thing in the upgrade pack. And like pretty much immediately after I checked out, they were fast. I got a phone call. Hey, this is now included with this machine. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to refund this for you. And I'm back in the machine now and you'll have it tomorrow. Like they were insanely good
So that's the
and
first
sent
person
me
you're
money
gonna look
back.
at if you machine.
Like totally go back there, leave a great review. I had a really great experience because they were proactive and paying attention, like really paying attention. And it wasn't the place I was going to go to first. The initial place I went to, they phoned too, but it was because, oh, you live in Aberdeen, which third biggest city in Scotland. Not like there's Inverness and stuff is further north. Ooh, that's not mainland. I don't know what we're not on an island. We're attached to England. Well, that's like the Highlands, which no, we're
Nope.
not in the Highlands. You're like, ooh, that might cost more money. And even if we can send it, we're like, we're gonna have to look, I'll cancel the order. Forget it. Like, you're gonna be like this. Like, it was thousands of pounds. I'm like, I don't want to waste my time on you refunding. It was really opposite ends in terms of service. I had bought other smaller things in the past, like refills and things even. And I've never gone back since because they're really crappy. I know like there's only one company that really delivers big stuff like that that they use. It's always DPD. They ship so much stuff. I know that they will deliver here next day. I know that they don't charge extra to do it. We don't count as a special zone. If you're on Orkney or something that's an island, that's more difficult. But Aberdeen is not one of those places. They have a giant depot here because there's thousands of parcels a day coming to Aberdeen. It's insane that they were doing this. It really having that other experience at the opposite end really helped. And you can even turn negative experiences into positive ones. When people reach out to you and they're like, this thing hasn't arrived, and you solve that problem and you do it really quickly, sometimes it creates an experience. I know I've had people who will come to me, will do their thing, they'll get it really quickly, they never have to contact me, they have a great experience. But like it's not super memorable because it just all went smoothly. But there are people where sometimes there's a hiccup and then we start an email conversation, we go back and forth, and they're like, oh, thank you. Sometimes things go wrong. It starts like this experience and people feel
Sometimes
really
that makes
supported.
mega fan.
Yeah, I help them really well. And they like sometimes the people who, and it's fairly my fault, I will say that. Normally it's something to do with their email. But if I solve their problem, like me even more. So you can turn those negative experiences into positive ones by giving them a really great experience when it comes to customer support. Okay, so today we covered 5 strategies to turn your first time customers into repeat buyers. Creating a great first impression, following up post purchase, give them a personalized experience, offering incentives, and delivering excellent customer service. Try and plan at least one of these strategies and share your results with us in our
With
Facebook community.
And if you need sales to be able to start trying these, if you're struggling with that, then definitely check out this resource that we have for you, where you can get, we call it the flash sale in a snap, where you can get a flash sale literally up and running this weekend. So that way you can create those great first impressions and get all of this loyalty stuff moving right along. You can grab it at theproductgrowthlab.com/flash.
Thanks for tuning in to the Product Growth Lab podcast. We hope you found today's episode insightful and inspiring. If you enjoyed the show, leave a review. It helps us reach more creative entrepreneurs just like you. Stay connected and keep experimenting. Follow us on your favorite podcast platform and don't forget to join our community for more resources, tips, and support. Until next time, keep growing and creating. This is Product Growth Lab, signing off.